Kenny Hansmeyer. He's the Executive Director of the National Child ID Program. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Monica. You tell I have a New York accent. I'm coming from the great state of Texas to bring you some good news today. The American football coaches, I'm going to give you a little bit of story about where we've come from so you know which way we're going. So I'm going to give you a brief history. The National Child ID Program was started in 1997 by the American Football Coaches Association. That's the association for all NFL and college coaches. We're really known for the crystal ball that we give to the national champions every year. And in 1997, Amber Hagerman was taken in Arlington, Texas. Great things come out of tragedy. The Amber Alert in this program. Amber's mother struggled for 5 days trying to find DNA and fingerprint information on Amber, and law enforcement had to come in and pull hair out of brushes, fingerprint toys, and Amber's mother never left the house to look for her child. And as coaches, we couldn't imagine that what a horrible tragedy that is to have a missing child, let alone not to be able to go out and look. There's over 800,000 children reported missing every year. It's 1 every 40 seconds. 450,000 children run away. 350,000 are parent divorce abductions, and 56,000 are stranger abductions. In 1997, 98 Division I universities participated in the program. They handed ID kits out to their fans. 2.7 million ID kits later, we became the largest child ID program in U.S. history. I was telling the AG, General Ford, a few minutes ago that we had a young governor by the name of George Bush that received an ID kit at Texas A&M and asked, how can we do all 4 million Texas school kids with this program? Over the next 2 years, we worked diligently with Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, the Dallas Cowboys, to be able to provide ID kits and memorabilia so that we could raise almost $6 million to provide those ID kits. When the governor became president, I got a phone call from the FBI that asked if the FBI could partner with the coaches on this program, and we enjoyed a 13-year relationship with the FBI to help provide these ID kits to the communities. To date, we're the world's largest child ID program. We've done over 70 million children. This ID kit's in every U.S. embassy worldwide. We've had the great honor to work with many governors across this great nation, and now we have the opportunity to work with the Attorney General. The Child ID program has been endorsed by the Democratic Attorney Generals Association as well as the Republican Attorney Generals Association. This young man standing to my left, your Attorney General Ford, will be the first Attorney General to do this program across this great nation, and we're very, very proud to be here, standing here today. We've had an opportunity to work with many, many athletes. We got a phone call from a young man that lived in Oklahoma, grew up and played his high school football, went to the great state of Alabama to take his talents to the University of Alabama. His great talents led him to Oakland, and Oakland will lead him to be a Las Vegas Raider. And his name is Josh Jacobs. Josh said, Kenny, he said, I've heard a lot about the Child ID program. I'm a young father. I can't imagine that my child would turn up missing sometime. I want to be able to give back into my community before I've even sweated in a practice in that desert heat. I want to give back. So we're here today to announce that between the leadership of labor, the AFL-CIO State Fed, Rusty McAllister, with labor and with the AG, we're announcing that we're going to, and IBEW, we're announcing today that we're going to provide 42,000 ID kits to every kindergarten child in the spring, both publicly and privately. These ID kits, again, they're a gift of safety, and they don't go into a database. We hope they're never used. We're providing something to a parent. We would like them to fill it out. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out. 80% of the information that's on the ID card is what law enforcement's going to ask when you report your child missing. We hope that it's never used, but if a parent fills it out and they have to report their child missing, they can turn it over to law enforcement and get to looking for their child. I'd like to introduce our captain in this program, got a phone call about 4 weeks ago, from D.C. said, hey, we want to work with Attorney General Ford on this project. We'd like Nevada to be first out the door because of Josh. Rusty McAllister jumped on it, made a phone call. There's not a better leader in this state than Rusty. He gave his life, his work to firefighters. Now he's given his life work to labor. And again, there's not a better partner in this program, Rusty McAllister.
Thank you, thank you, Kenny, and thank you all for attending today. It is my distinct privilege and honor to get up here and introduce our Attorney General. As Kenny said, a few weeks back, I was contacted by the National AFL-CIO out of Washington, D.C., asked me if I could step in and essentially take a lead role, if you will, and contact the Attorney General and contact other interested parties to implement or roll out this program here in the state of Nevada. It makes perfect sense. One of the big partners for the National Child ID program is organized labor. The AFL-CIO is a national partner, and especially the leadership of International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is a huge sponsor of this program and plays a big role in making sure that moves forward throughout the country. With that, I was able to get a hold of the Attorney General, and he didn't hesitate. He said, hey, let's put this together. I'm very interested. Let's fill me in on what it is. We did, and he jumped in right away. There's nobody, I think, that's better suited in the state right now to take on this law enforcement operation and protection of children than our Nevada State Attorney General. It's my distinct privilege to introduce Aaron Ford.
Thank you so much, Rusty, for that introduction, and thank you all for being here. My name is Aaron Ford, and I am your Attorney General. When I took office, I promised that I would keep Nevada families safe. And to me, that starts with our children. Children are our greatest resource, and that's why we're all here today, to talk about ways that we can keep our children safe. Every day, my office is working to keep our children and our youth safe. And we're doing so by protecting our children from drugs and from violent crime on the streets. We're keeping them safe online, or by reuniting our missing and our exploited children with their families. And one of the efforts that I'm most proud of in this office is through our missing children advocate, Alyssa Engler. She's here with us here today. Alyssa runs the Nevada Clearinghouse for Missing and Exploited Children, and she works with 2 investigators in my office to advocate for missing and exploited children. Together, they partner with law enforcement both locally and all over the world to bring our missing children home. And in 2019 alone, our missing children advocate and investigators have successfully reunited 55 missing children with their families. When the child is identified as missing or exploited, my office doesn't stand idly by. And today, we take another step forward to protect Nevada families, this time by partnering with the Oakland Raiders and their star running back, Josh Jacobs, and with the National Child Identification Program, and we do so to vigorously protect our children. Josh, as many of you may know, has personally pledged his support to this program, and he's excited to be a spokesman when the Raiders join the Nevada family. Together, we're hoping that we will begin distributing approximately 42,100 kits to kindergarten students and their families beginning in the spring of 2020. And we're excited to work on any legislation that's necessary to ensure that Nevada families receive the support they need to keep our children safe. And now, I'm proud to introduce Mr. Jacobs. Before he takes the microphone, I'd like to also thank a few other people who are here. Standing to my right is the chair of the Clark County Commission, Marilyn Kirkpatrick. her vice chair, and also a good friend, Lawrence Weekly. I also want to thank Las Vegas Metro Director Chuck Calloway. I want to thank the representatives from the Raiders who are here, the representatives from Clark County, and of course, representatives of labor who are here. Again, without their support, we couldn't make this happen. And the last entity that I'd like to thank, and many of whom are here with us right now, are members of my office, standing all around, because again, in the Office of Attorney General, our job is justice, and justice includes protecting our children. And with that, I'd like to introduce Oakland Raiders running back Josh Jacobs and thank him for lending his support to this very important program. Mr. Jacobs.
First off, I want to start by saying how much it's an honor and a privilege to be up here and be able to do this for kids in every state that I've lived or every state that I'm going to live in. It definitely was huge for me to give back to the state that I'm about to call home. Okay, cool. But yeah, it's definitely an honor, and it's a blessing to be in this position and to be on this platform to give back and do for others. And with me being a father, I don't know how I would react if my son was to go missing or anything like that. And with this, just knowing that there's something that could be done within a faster time and be able to feel like I have a safety valve is definitely huge for me. So I just want to say thank you all for allowing me to be here today. Thank you for supporting this, and it's definitely an honor and a blessing.